I love the Lord, for He heard my voice. He has turned His ear to me when I cried, mercy, mercy. I love the for He heard my voice. He has turned His ear to me when I cried, mercy, 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 Lord. For You alone have delivered my soul from death and my eyes from tears. You have kept my feet from stumbling, that I may walk before You in the land of the living. I believe, therefore I said, 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 I love the Lord. For He's heard my voice. He has turned His ear to me when I cried, mercy, 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 Lord. For You alone have delivered my soul from death and my eyes from tears. You have kept my feet from stumbling, that I may walk before You in the land of the living. I believe, therefore I said, 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 I love the Lord, for He's heard my voice. He has turned His ear to me when I cried, mercy, mercy.
Then Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues, and proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and curing every disease and every sickness. When He saw the crowds, He had compassion for them, because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Then He said to His disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, ask the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into His harvest."
I got my first job when I was 15, working with my friend Rick as a yard monkey for a crane business. Now, there was a lot I didn't know when we started, a fact that he was more than willing to exploit. Reading schematics, for example, while I climbed to the top of the cherry picker looking for the hydraulic leak, which I did by waiting for him to turn something on and then have the hot fluid spray all over my leg. Now, I didn't know the summer of 1978 was going to be a hot and humid summer. So much so that we would end up starting work at like 5 in the morning so that we could be done before the sun got too hot. I didn't know scraping and painting 20-foot boom sections was going to be as boring as it turned out to be. I didn't know our boss was getting ready to go bankrupt. And I didn't know that halfway through the summer, I would find myself in the cab of a dodgy old Peterbilt tractor speeding down Route 30 to Chester, West Virginia, next to a sketchy trucker, because my boss's biker chick daughter was moving back home, and Rick and I were the movers. What I did know was that the pay was good. I knew that summer I wanted to buy a Fender jazz bass that cost $450 at Lamakin's Music. And I knew I wanted to go on a date with a beautiful blonde girl named Sherry. And you know what? By August, I had done both. Now, how often does what we don't know get in the way of our work? In my case, not knowing these things made the job easier because I probably wouldn't have taken it had I known all the things that were going to happen. But we could see too often just what's out there. And I wonder, how often does the enormity of a task or the difficulties that seem to surround it stop us dead in our tracks? I think that Jesus addresses this very issue here in Matthew. As he moves about the countryside, we can see that Jesus is moved and touched, that there are so many who need what he has to offer. We're told here he had compassion for them. And compassion is a fascinating word. It's not just that tisk, tisk, tisk sound we make when we wish things were different, or that squirmy feeling we get when we realize just how much we have compared to so many others. Compassion is active, like love. It turns our passion from ourselves to the interests, desires, and needs of others. It makes their interests and desires and needs our own. It's a little like installing a pool in your backyard, not because we enjoy the water, but because we know others will enjoy it. Or diving into that pool, not because we like to swim, but because someone needs us to help keep them afloat. In this case, it's God who dives in to the human condition, living among us as one of us, showing us how to live as God's people and giving us the grace and power to do it. It is compassion that motivates God to send the Son into the world. Compassion that motivates the life and ministry of Jesus. And as we can see here, it's compassion that prompts him to make the connection between the crowds who are gathered before him and the disciples who are gathered before him. The harvest is plentiful, Jesus says, but the laborers are few. The first part of compassion happens when Jesus looks out at these crowds, harassed, helpless, desperate. And it can happen for us as well if we are willing to open our eyes and look around us at the world. Once we do, once the Spirit has honed our senses, we can begin to see the need everywhere. We recognize the enormity of the task before us. Now, that would be pretty discouraging if we knew that the boss expected the few to do all the work. I mean, how often do we see all the need, all the work to be done around us in this world and get that sinking feeling as if the world was a very big ocean and we were in a very small boat? But the good news is God never expects the few to do it all, only to do our share. Jesus is clear. He says the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. But then he says, therefore, ask the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. Now, Jesus did that. He sent his disciples into an awfully big mission field. And so he gave them a lot of power and authority. But that power and authority wasn't to do it all, but to do what they could for whomever they would meet. then they would enlist those people to go and do likewise, investing them with the same power and authority Jesus had given to them. And that is what the disciples did. That is why we are here today as the Church of Jesus Christ. Now it's our turn. God promises to grant us exactly what we need to go into this broken world and share the love and power manifest in the risen Christ. We can do it. All we have to do is start. Amen.